CyberChimps have some in customers signed up to their hosted WordPress teams. I'm going to log into the CyberChimps administration panel to see how we're performing. So once I log in here, the first thing I'm presented with is the administration dashboard, and that basically shows me some basic information of how my service and my teams are performing. So here I've got total revenue, I've got the number of trials that are active right now, number of paying customers, over the last few days, how many trials I have. I've got my average revenue per customer, my top grossing teams, top selling teams, and some recently launched teams. I also have this button down here which is detailed analytics. Once I click in here, I get a PDF report which contains some much more detailed analytics of how my service is performing to date. So I've got customer data, revenue data, team data, performance data. Then under my sales, I've got some of my top selling teams and top revenue generating customers. I also have some charts here that you can see of how my teams are performing with uploads, trials, how many teams have been changed or deleted in customer accounts. From an operations perspective, what RAM is being used, storage, bandwidth, etc., and including the average load times of a page. Then under SaaS analytics, I've got more detailed information on the recurrent revenue model, which is the SaaS model. So I can see over the lifetime how much revenue I've generated, my active subscribers, my expired subscribers, and my monthly recurrent revenue, which is called your MMR, which will obviously in the SaaS model increases over time, sometimes exponentially. I've got my subscription volume, monthly churn rate, which is basically how many people are cancelling the service on a monthly basis. And I've got my customer lifetime value, which is the amount of revenue I aim to get from each customer over their lifetime of using my service. So now we'll go back to the dashboard and we'll take a look on the customers and see where that customer I just created came onto the platform. So you'll see Rebel IT was created here. He's active. He hasn't paid anything yet. He hasn't been invoiced because he's on a free trial. Whereas you'll see some of the rest of the guys here, they are paying right now. Under the revenue section, I can see all my invoices as they're paid in real time. So I can see all the invoices come in here and the real-time status. So we're integrated with PayPal and Stripe, so we can we automatically process all the credit card statements. Then if I go to my applications, this is where we store the individual repositories for each team that you want to offer on our platform. So let's just go in here and just see some examples. The Altitude team here, which is the one I just launched in the last video that I showed. And here you can see the server that this team is installed, how you can SSH into it. You've got a link to the front end, and if you see here, this is the WordPress instance. I can log into the backend of that instance. And when I enter the username and password, I will see my dashboard where I can install any plugins that I want. So if you see under here, you'll see some plugins that we've installed. You'll see the teams that I've made available under in this container. So again, this is the backend view. So you'll see the Altitude team with the others that I added. Plus you also have this interesting component, which is an additional plugin which allows you to integrate with Git. Here you can pull or push changes that you make to your teams or your templates from Git. You can push them to Git or pull them from Git, and then they'll automatically be applied to this container which contains this team. When I go back to my repository, once I'm happy with the changes that I've made in my team itself, I can save the team, and then once that is saved, it'll appear in my save list up here, and then from there I can release it to live so that it's available for all new customers that sign up for the service. Some of the other things here that I can show you are the price plan. Once you add a team, you've got options to add any number of price plans for those teams. So you can have a standard price plan, you can have premium price plans, you can have all at different values, different prices basically. And some of these plans can have different characteristics. So again, if I go into one of the ones that I created for my altitude team, you'll see here I've got an option to edit. And here I can change some of the characteristics of my plan. So I can change the memory quota. So basically I can offer premium services by, let's say, increasing the memory to maybe 2 gig, 2.5 gig, and obviously changing the amount that I'm charging for this service. And I can also change the trial days to 0 if I want to request payment up front. So I'll request credit card details when a customer registers for the service, or give them a trial period of which they can use the service free of charge. Some of the other elements of the platform that are interesting are the email templates. The email templates is basically how the platform corresponds to customers who register for the service. So here we have 26 predefined or default templates. And just to give you an example of some here, we've got a customer welcome email. If I click on this, we use, you can see the format of the email. This is completely configurable. You can click edit. And you can basically add whatever wording you want. We use smart tags to be able to personalize the email with the information that you want to send to each customer. And all these email templates are event driven. So basically the platform will send the appropriate email dependent on the event that is being triggered. So for a sign up, we'll be sending the customer welcome email. There are other things like an invoice payment failure, we'll send a different email, and then it's completely configurable in here. If account is going to be account closure is requested, an email will be sent. Some of the other interesting ones are if a subscription or a trial is expiring, you can send an email just to inform the customer, obviously, that they need to make a decision on whether they want to pay for the service or not. So again, completely configurable.